All right, folks, welcome to Nino's Corner.tv. I'm with John Carman once again. A lot of developments are happening with the shooting. They say, Cash Patel's come out and said, we've got the guy. Most people don't believe it. It seemed very highly orchestrated and engineered, in my opinion, in most people's opinion. We feel like they're getting a patsy. Remember, this is the same FBI that, told us that Epstein killed himself and there's no Epstein list, right? So not many people have faith in this FBI at all. And I hate to say it, but I'm really just stating the obvious. It's not something that I'm saying, just everyone's saying that. And it is the way it is. And to me, with all the footage that's coming out, with the hand signals, with an apparent guy removing a camera right after the death. I mean, up there removing the camera. I don't know if he was just taking apart the stage or the production, but also the person asking, the student asking a question about trans violence, mass shootings, and that is when Charlie Kirk got shot right at that moment. It all seemed very, very organized. And then there was decoys in the audience. So, excuse me for not believing the narrative, and I know everybody else on here doesn't believe the narrative either. John Carman, you're an experienced former United States Secret Service agent. You know what you're looking at. You had the instincts to question Hinckley and say that he was a threat. So you got the instincts.
That was 5 years before the actual incident.
So you know what you're talking about. And do you have the same kind of instincts? Do you have the same kind of instincts that are telling you what are your instincts telling you? Let's just start with that. What is your thought?
Let me tell you a surprise piece of information I just remembered. I just got up from my nap. Are you aware that they had a drone in the area spotted?
Yes.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Now, if they had a big event like that, somebody was watching from a distance, and that's very serious right there. So once I saw that piece of information late last night, I was jumping all over it because they've got a drone that was in the area, passed right over from the stage area, left to right, and then off at an angle. A lot of snipers, I'm suggesting anybody could use the drone, but even snipers in the military will use a drone to check it out. They do it in the war in Ukraine. It's all the technology. It's like the latest thing. You got a drone, you could spot, see what's going on, see if there's anything near it. So somebody's got a picture of everybody that was in that crowd. Somebody. That means if they gave that information to the government, they could visually, facially scan all the people who could be threats, prior threats. The guy that was a mental case, George, what's his name, that was arrested, detained earlier, the bald white male, and then the other guy that they caught with at a vehicle who had a rifle, like a bolt action type rifle, things like that. So, but you're right. Yeah, I mean, I've already seen some of the comments. They know we're on target with this. Nobody else is going to have somebody on with my background so far, and it'll take a while, a learning curve before they finally get more and more information about what's going on. And they're focusing sometimes too much on what is distraction. They'll get distracted by.
You got Candace Owens coming out saying, she's going to dig deep into this, and everybody better have their facts together. She's going after everybody, and I agree with her.
Yeah.
None of this adds up at all. It makes zero sense. And when he got, oh man, I just showed it again.
Well, we're going through the shock of it too, and you cannot ignore the fact that you'll go through some shock about this because you're going to watch the same thing over and over, but it's the people's response. These haters, these Democrat communists that we're at war with, and I've been saying that for years. Now, this is interesting because if you watch the movement just now, and I haven't seen this particular angle as close up right now, but like before, the way these guys are scrambling, you can see the difference between non-professional, the innocent people. Somebody suggested that they had him in a vehicle still alive after he gushed out so much blood that he bled out that much, that, you know, you can't lose that much blood and live. They claimed they got him into a vehicle and they suddenly had a blood patch.
No, you know,
Yeah,
I think he was gone before he got in the vehicle. They could say what they want. That much blood, you're done. You're
of
gone.
course.
Right when he got shot and I saw it, I go, he's gone. That's it. It's over. And it
Yeah.
probably snapped his neck, severed his spine. I mean, it's you know, I just there's all these conspiracy theories coming out, crazy, crazy conspiracies. You know, saying that he's actually still alive. I mean, just disgusting nonsense. But
Well,
my
that's
cousin was
part
there.
of the agenda.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah.
In
My
fact,
cousin
there's
was there,
three
saw it.
words I wrote down the other day because I was hearing this from another source: divert, distract, delay. That is the Democrat left wing communist type of deal. It's like hearing Ocasio Cortez trying to claim that the suspect had a really bad background, alcohol syndrome, and all these other things. They're trying to build a defense. How stupid that was for her to say stuff like that, no matter how she said it. The defense of these left wingers are trying to defend some other angle to distract you from the actual truth that could be as simple as that. Real simple. The guy hated him, or he wanted to make a point, or he wanted to make a deal, or he wanted to do it for another group of people, the transgender group, which is a new domestic terrorism group. And Trump ought to make certain people domestic terrorists. He ought to designate certain Democrats. In fact, one lady actually made a post. I've been scanning hundreds and hundreds of comments and emails. One person said, "This is the time to jump over to the Republicans now. If you're a Democrat, you better switch over now because it's going to get really rough. The war is going to happen, and these are the indicators. When you assassinate somebody, that is the type of stuff that people went to war during world wars. You know, we're going back to the thing in 1917, plus all the U.S. presidents that they've attempted to assassinate. This guy was so sharp. I listened to a really good dissertation where he was explaining something to some guy. This guy was so well read that he had the answers down very, very good. I'd say 98%.
He was polished.
98%.
He was a polished debater, and
Yes.
you know, he was fighting for the nuclear family, Christianity. They had to take this guy out. He was
Yeah.
a serious threat. He would have been, in my opinion, with the rate he was going, the speed he was going, would have been president by 20, not 2028, but I would have imagined 2032. You know,
Yes.
maybe 2028, but I think more so 2032 would have been his timing, and they took him out before he could influence any more young minds. And I just feel this was a much more elaborate hit than people understand.
Well, look at how the Democrats are doing this. You have to look at back in history, and I'm not a political person. When I went to work in Secret Service, we respected the Taft Act. You don't discuss religion and you don't discuss politics. But if you look at what happened to John F. Kennedy, who do you think took him out because he was going to be the best president we ever had? They killed him.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same profiling that I see. That's what they did. They saw this guy as a possible political
And
threat.
here he is giving a warning, John Carman. Listen to this.
Yeah.
The Kirk presidency 15 years from now?
No,
No.
no. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
enjoying myself, but this is going to get really nasty. Everyone listen to this. I just hope you understand. They're going to be coming after us. They're going to be following us in the middle of the night. They're going to be breaking into our houses. You think I'm joking? They are going to
Gonna
be
happen.
violent. That you will not be able to walk the streets of the MAGA hat without your physical health be put in jeopardy. And I hope it doesn't get that way. I hope that this clip gets unearthed and everything's like wonderful. I hope that the country comes together and we have a beautiful unitarian healing moment in September.
That's very revealing, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you think about it, you know, he had enough intelligence to profile the situation. That's the word I have to use all the time because of the
But I've been
background
saying
training.
we've been saying this for the last 5 years on my channel. This is nothing, honestly, in all fairness, that's nothing new. That's kind of
Exactly.
we all know this is coming and it's gonna get worse. These people, their fates are threatened, their livelihoods are threatened. Transgenders, you know, alternative lifestyles, they all feel very threatened. They're very up in arms right now, and we're going to be coming at them harder than ever before. Now it's war.
Look at the murder of that innocent girl on the train, Irutska,
Yeah.
Irina Irutska. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing. I don't have the name in front of me, but by that alone, they covered that up. They stalled it. That's what the media does. The deep state still owns the media, all the way back to Obama, at least, and that means that they control all this stuff. And I'm not talking just Obama. I'm talking John Brennan, the Clintons, and all these other Clapper, all these guys. You know, the ones that Trump was removing their security clearance. None of these people should have a security clearance to get updates on anything, and they need to be arrested. I'm tired of hearing they will be held accountable. No, we don't talk that language. If you're a badge and you carry a gun, you arrest people. That's it. And yet, I'm watching the ICE arrests and the conflicts. And there was an incident yesterday where a suspect, that's what we call them, suspects, who was involved with an arrest situation. He was going to be arrested and deported. And yet these left wingers are trying to come up with knowledge. They push the issue and lie to you. They don't know Scheitzen, how's your German, about the border issues like I do. I worked at the border for 15 years, customs, immigration, and 40 different agencies at the same time, cross-designated. So they don't get it. Now look at the distance on the photo again that you just popped up.
John. So you being an experienced Secret Service agent, what are we looking at right here? You tell me as I play this video. What are we looking at here?
Well, you're looking at a perfect angle. Remember, that guy was farther away than we had thought. He's like off
this guy right here. This guy right here, you feel is involved?
Right. He's off stage. He's very close. Unless he's security, what is he doing there? He doesn't look like security. That's what I'm telling you. He's given the ball cap thing, and he stroked his face like a signal. And he's got a camera up the whole time.
Yeah, and he's looking right, you're right at Charlie.
I'll tell you what, these people the deep state will put a cameraman right there to get it on film.
And then what about this guy here?
That's the guy that's highly suspect because he's well built, military style. He's got tattoos on his right arm, his demeanor, haircut, the whole thing. And yet he's doing this thing where he's adjusting his arm. I watched it a dozen times. He's adjusting as if he pulls his sleeve up. Why? He's trying to show off his bicep or something. And then he does that maneuver. He's not the typical. Look at that.
Yeah, that's weird. That was, yeah.
See that?
Yeah.
That's a baseball, steal the base. Baseball, steal the base signal, something. See what I mean? It doesn't add up. His security personnel are too far away.
Wow. So I heard this guy, or I don't know about the guy in the baseball cap, but I heard this guy is usually at Charlie Kirk's events, isn't he?
Right. That's what I'm trying to look around.
But I mean, it's easy to be compromised. It's easy. I mean,
they're at a distance. One guy's a black shirt. He's wearing a black shirt. I don't know if it's uniform or not for those guys, but that's the dress they were wearing. The other guy's a camera guy. He's not security. He's a camera guy. It's no different than the camera people that showed up at JFK.
Highly suspect.
Yeah.
I mean,
you have
the
to
more
look
I look at
around.
it,
That's a well-gated area. It's secure and separate. Only Kirk is supposed to be there doing a speech. He's throwing out ball caps. He's got the microphone, cameras at a distance, and all that.
and this guy's ready to film. This guy's ready to film the carnage. Like he's right on Charlie Kirk's neck.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it looks like to me.
They've got that stuff captured when he does that. You know, he's doing an adjustment, then he's like acting like nobody makes that movement. I've looked at millions of humans, especially at the border, and I monitor movements like that in the Secret Service, at the White House. We monitor that, or at least I did. Those are movements. Anytime a guy's moving something, you got to watch his hands. The hands are the key.
And so, is there any news on these individuals? They're obvious suspects now.
No, they're covering
Why aren't they
it
being
up.
interrogated? Why aren't they being pulled aside and talked to?
They're holding it back. They allegedly talked to the guys. Allegedly, I don't know that they did. If they did, I want to see it. I want to see the actual film. Now, there's a good photo that you just flipped by that showed the suspect where he was picking up that wrapped up item, which could have been the rifle. Okay, that fits. After that, he disappears. And the governor, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's one of the guys that described the suspect as having all black. That's going to stand out. A black top, long sleeve shirt.
It looked like he almost looked like a ninja up there. Like it didn't.
Well, yeah, but he had Levi's on. See, that's the point. A guy dressed up like a ninja is going to stand out to me.
Yeah.
They didn't have any. They didn't have any proper surveillance. If they had the drone, where's that drone?
Where's the footage of him climbing the roof?
Oh, well, that's a good point. They didn't show that.
How did he get up there?
Well, if he got up there from that point, the trees are awfully close. I don't know the surrounding area, but what if the weapon was already placed up there, like I suspect at the AGR building with Maxwell Urick, not Crooks, at Butler, PA, in July 13th. I'm sorry. What's today's date?
Today is the 13th.
That's prophetic. My number is 13. That's a date of birth date. We're doing something on the 13th. Butler, PA was July 13th. Now we're talking about another assassination on the 13th. That'll get other gematria people excited, and we could do that later. But the one where Maxwell Urick got up on a ladder, but he got up to the roof. That's how he did. In this case, I don't know that information yet. It's not really that important, but it's good to indicate once he was up there. He could have been there all day for 12 hours like Ryan Wesley Ralph, the guy out of Mar-a-Lago who's got a case. There's too many assassins going on in this day and time, and the Secret Service is over 1,000.
And this is only going to get worse. This is going to escalate, folks. This is not going to
keep trying.
You know, and that's, I never would have thought I would say this, but I'm actually 100% for, at this point in time, military on the streets, policing the streets right now. And I know that sounds like I'm all for a police state, but I'm not. I believe we deserve security with our tax dollars. And, you know, maybe this is all part of the grand plan. I don't know. But all I can say is we have no choice in this matter now. We can't allow these things to keep continuing. Not at the rate and speed, the pace that they're continuing on right now. There's going to be more of this, I would imagine, by the end of this fall.
Well, you know what I would be interested in what, as an investigator or an agent, former agent, whatever, that I would be interested in contacting the enemy. I would contact certain left-wing Democrats to get their comment. AOC has already made stupid comments. They need to get other people to get their thing. If they were real Americans, they would pour out what this is outrageous, like Kareem, Jeffries, Abdul, Jabbar, Muhammad, what's his name? And I'm saying that intentionally because he's such a perfect piece of work that they need to profile after. These people don't care. They are the enemy, and they will talk behind your back to kill certain people. I've seen enough of it where they're over accentuating their hatred for Trump, who's the president right now.
And here's that one guy that's celebrating.
Oh, yeah.
This guy right.
Telling you,
right there, the guy in the middle, right there.
Yeah. He pops up and I think I saw him last night on another video.
Look at him celebrating. Short. Look at this guy. Look at this guy.
Yeah.
Laughing.
Yeah. That's outrageous. If those people are like that, they didn't have enough security at all.
Look at this guy. Just celebrating. He is elated. He's man. He's not worried at all. He's not panicked. He's getting up. He's celebrating. Oh my Lord, man.
Oh, there were certain comments that he was making about whoever did that. See, this is outrageous. Utah, the university, the type people they've got there, all of the universities, just like saying Berkeley up in California.
Yeah, this guy looked exactly at the direction the bullet was shot, and he's celebrating.
Yeah.
So what would you do with this guy? Everyone else is in a panic, but he's looking back at the direction of where the
I'll give you an example.
Huh?
I visited the Hotel Del Coronado. A friend of mine from immigration wanted to go see the President Clinton and Hillary. They came to town one night. I was off. That person came over. I drove over because I knew where to park, and I go right by the agent. I had to introduce myself because I'm ex-Secret Service and tell them who I was. I was armed at the time because I was from Customs, and went into the courtyard. And after they landed at North Island, they drive down in the limousines, protected, into the Hotel Del, and they're going to stay there. And they came out and waved and said hello and all that. Some idiot off to the left, about 25 feet away from me. It's dark, it's nighttime. He made some stupid comments. I won't repeat them about Clinton. You don't do that. That's the President of the United States. Have some respect. Well, I looked at my watch and timed it. About 5, 6, 7 seconds. Agent comes over and detained the guy to talk to him because he made a slanderous comment about the President of the United States. That's a risk. You automatically go up, you field interview them, FI them, like we talk in cop talk, and you get his name, date of birth, and everything else, and try to evaluate him as a threat. Hinckley was not that weird. He was worse.
So
But
you've seen a lot of persons of interest just in this what I've showed that should be pulled aside, interrogated, and well, at the very least questioned. Correct?
yeah, that's what you do. You engage them in conversation, and ask them for ID. What's their interest? What are their intents? If they have an intent of some sort, and that's their chance to go off on you or to react to you. They know your Secret Service at that time, and that gives them a chance to react. You get to evaluate them up close and personal and look into their eyes. That's critical. Is this guy on dope? Is he a psychological threat? Is he something else? Could be armed? Is he trained? Is he military or some other background that you can look at all in a few seconds? That's what it's all about. And if he looks like he's aggressively crazy or going off or on drugs, that's your time to cuff him up, search him, and check him for weapons. He could have a weapon, could be anything. I won't go on the list of thousands of weapons, but there's the basic types.
Well, if this so-called shooter, if this is really the guy and he is connected to Antifa, do you agree with what I'm about to play right here? Give me 1 second.
Oh yeah.
And we're big believers and supporters of law enforcement. But two things that irk us, and I think irk the American people, and I think people are kind of getting tired of it, is no real preventative, nothing really preventative, everything performative before the fact. That we hear that, these mentally deranged kids or these transgender kids have been identified, or maybe the FBI has been noticed or local law enforcement's been noticed, but it turns out nothing's happened, or they go to the house a couple of times. And there's been issues, but because everybody's so politically correct and kind of tiptoeing around it, they walk away. Or in this case, this hasn't been confirmed, but it might have been some people had seen this guy in action and motion. And this makes sense because the timeline itself, we have to get the timeline right. And we have to make sure that we actually have the shooter and not an accessory to this.
So he's saying right
So
there.
the self-congratulatory Nate.
So he's even thinking there's more to the story, huh?
Well, again, we touched on it yesterday. This guy does not look like he's a transgender. If he was, he'd have the long hair, the look,
Right,
and all
right.
these other things. He could be like a freedom fighter taking up a cause, thinking,
Antifa, right? And
There
they
you go.
really look
And-
at Charlie Kirk as spreading hate and rhetoric. They
yeah,
really
and they,
believe
and they
this. I
had
mean,
a cutout with Biden and Trump debating years ago. And as soon as Trump mentioned something about Antifa, Biden got irate. He was enraged, trying to defend Antifa as an idea versus an actual domestic terrorist group. Well, Biden's crazy. He's an idiot. That
or,
is a
or
terrorist group.
he's a pawn. He's a tool they're using. Obviously, let me play
Yeah.
to this.
Yeah.
Of the of law enforcement. Oh, and that says two things. The other thing is when after it's over, good God, like down at the university, there's tanks everywhere and half tracks and Humvees, and people are up armored like they were at the Catholic school. you had something look like it looked like more troops than you deployed to the border, or when the Germans are whining about they have no troops to put in Ukraine, it's the brigade they've got up in Lithuania. Everybody's running around and they're all swatted up, and everybody's a cowboy and they got guns and communications, and they're doing all this after the fact. And today, please, for law enforcement in the future, just cut out the our partners. I hate our partners. They're not partners. They're not your partners. They're other law enforcement. They got a job to do, local, maybe state, maybe there's interagency. That's all fine. They're not partners. They're paid to do this. This is the structure of law enforcement locally, law enforcement state, how it interacts with the Fed. We get it.
You ought to pause it for there for a
Complicated. You
second.
guys do it. Good.
This is the same type of rhetoric that they've been training people for years since the Democrats got in. It's the same thing. As soon as they have an incident, they all show up and they're with their partners patting each other on the back, et cetera, letting people know that they're doing their job to go out and prevent and do stuff. They're not. They're doing a speech. It's left-wing Democrat rhetoric. They need to get back to the basics. The suspect looks like this. We're after him now. And all this being held accountable stuff, that's other rhetoric. You don't arrest people on the street and say freeze, you're going to be held accountable. No, you are under arrest. You cuff them up, you search them, you transport them, and then you do the process, the reports, the evidence gathering, and so on and so forth. These people have done so much to change and distract people from the actual truth. It's a storyline. It's a game. That's what these people are doing. They're getting away with playing a game in front of the truth. Especially in the West Coast. People like Gavin Newsome, Karen Bass, just to name a few. That's what they do. It's all about distraction. The guy's on drugs.
But this is going to get much worse, like Charlie Kirk said. Unfortunately, he paid with his life, but he hit the nail on the head, didn't he?
Yeah. I'm so sorry to
movies,
see
it's always
such a
the
gifted
renegade cop
person
and
taken out.
Yeah.
everybody's against them and all that. I don't want to hear any of that. It's all crap. It's all nonsense. We're in a war now. We're actually been in a war, but we got to stop the crap. Also, I just think, and this is why law enforcement, not this goofy governor who's completely woke, and it was Arnold Schwarzenegger called him girly man. He's a girly man. Wants to have a kumbaya. So the Daily Mail had my take on law enforcement. And I think shortly they're going to have my take on, if I understand what they're doing, is a lot of people were like shocked, but supportive of my takedown of Cox. Mediaites got the lead story. It was the lead story here. Cox is the politician America needs at this moment. Well, if that's the case, that's the America that's going to lose and not be America anymore.
Yeah, pause it again.
We're not going to
If
go.
you monitor any of the ICE arrests, and I do this on occasion, these guys are not, they're acting like they're being told to stand down. They get confronted by people, good or bad, white or black, Hispanic or otherwise, doesn't matter. And they're being prevented from doing their job. Holman is aggressive. He's worked at San Diego sector like I have in the San Diego district, which is hundreds of miles. And these people don't do that. I've had rocks thrown at me from the other side of the border.
So it's take no prisoners at this point. I think that was the shot that changed everything. Take no prisoners.
Exactly.
Go out and sing Kumbaya. We're not going to hold hands this afternoon, and we're not going to have a barbecue with Democrats. Not going to happen. You've seen this over and over and over again. Here they take a gentle soul. Remember, Charlie Kirk is a gentle soul, a good and decent man that would go into these hellholes of universities and hold himself out to debate ideas, what university is supposed to be about, and to try to organize the information and the facts, and to kind of like, Aristotelian arguments, to actually treat these people like they care about reason. That's what Charlie would do to kind of try to raise them up, to play to their better angels. And what was Charlie's reward for that? Charlie Kirk was executed. He was shot like a dog for being one of the great young men in this country. So Cox, contemplate that before you try to sell the crap you're trying to sell. The reason the country's in the shape it is Republicans like that you've put in office over and over and over again. And what do they want to do? They're afraid of the media. They're afraid of the donors. They're afraid of the money. They're afraid of the media. And they will kowtow. They will break. You want to have certain defeat? You want to lose any chance of making America great again? Follow guys like Cox. Simple. Direct. Designate Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization. Freeze their bank accounts. Declare
Exactly.
martial law in Portland.
I agree.
Shut them down, round them up, and go kick down some doors today.
They should have done that years ago.
Chain them up and take them down to federal prison.
I agree.
By the way, in my area alone, when the Antifa BLM came to the San Diego area, they burnt down 2 banks. One of them was mine, as a matter of fact, that I happened to go to. And you don't just throw a Molotov cocktail on top of a bank and have it melt and burn down. They had to do certain chemicals and stuff like magnesium. I'll just leave that at that part. And it's a pyrotechnic type thing that's a superior cocktail, Molotov cocktail situation that only certain people who are trained. These people are trained. These people who are protesting are trained. They need to be trained, and then we need to arrest them like professionals, the hard way.
So you believe they should be a terrorist organization like Steve Bannon and arrested and taken down. I agree with you.
Yes.
I'm 100% with you on that. John,
Even
I gotta have
Germany.
I gotta have a hard stop.
Germany, same thing.
I'm jumping on Bo Pony right now. John, thank you so much for
Okay.
joining me. You're amazing. Folks, go to his Venmo and help him out. I'll put the link down below. Support John Carman for his efforts. He has the balls to come out and talk about this stuff, putting his reputation, his neck on the line. John Carman, former Secret Service for Carter, Reagan, Nixon, all that entire era. John, thank you so much.
All right, have a good one.